Let's get into it. Jason Reitman, the director of Ghostbusters Afterlife, spoke to ING and addressed directly the nostalgia question. So I'm just going to go real quick for those totally new. I assume people know the basic thing with Ghostbusters, right? Four guys, busted ghosts, 1980s, had a couple adventures, but now they're seemingly gone. And in Afterlife, essentially Egon's granddaughter discovers his equipment and a new threat rises. But one of the things that critics have hammered on, but a lot of fans seem to love, is just how much this fully embraces everything with Ghostbusters. Like the small little details, the preciseness of everything, equipment, the costumes, the setting, right? And we're definitely getting a lot. We're getting dogs, we're getting the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Again, not in their classical form, but a lot of the key traits are here. But the question is this too much, or why is it happening? And he sort of clarifies like why they did this and from what they were aiming for.
The sequels got dinged, for fan service. So just in terms of your own kind of North Star for like how much is too much, if you took any kind of lessons from other things that have come out before this, what was your kind of, what were your thoughts about, is too much at all at any point? Or for you, that you just wanted to just lean into everything that people love?
Great question. I mean, look, Ghostbusters, the original, was about the Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters Afterlife is really about the rest of us. It's about the rest of us discovering the Ghostbusters, discovering our past, reliving that nostalgia, leaning into this mystery. It's about a family who gets this farmhouse and inherits a legacy and doesn't know what it is and really needs to uncover it, figure out how this equipment works, get the car working again. And it's about reconnecting with the past, and I can't think of a better way to have done it than with my father by my side.
Okay, that's interesting. So this isn't really a Ghostbusters movie then. This seems to be a movie within the Ghostbusters universe. But it's not focused on the Ghostbusters in terms of the original four, but I guess they're after effects or the legacy. It kind of puzzles me why they didn't just call the thing Ghostbusters Legacy, because that seems to be the real story. It's sort of what did the Ghostbusters do and how it basically transformed things and how they were kind of mythologized but then forgotten. Presumably this is going to explain how did people forget this, because those events were pretty big. And it seems from the plot little leaks, I'm not going to do the whole thing, is that Egon was on the case and something happened to him and now the case is being reopened, but it's the kids doing the investigating. Okay, so he's clarified like what the game plan was. I guess I just hope that the next installments, because there's no doubt this is going to be a good film, it's going to make a ton of money, so there's going to be a revival of the franchise, but what direction are they going to go in? Again, this isn't really the core four, so are we finally going to reconstruct that? Are these kids going to become the four? I guess I just want something more centrally that is Ghostbusters, whereas this seems more a story that happened within the universe, but it's more like a side. I usually don't mind that too, by the way. I like side stories, I like backstory, but having waited this long, I think people are sort of hungry for the main course. But it does seem like this is kind of an appetizer to get back into the universe. And it is what it is. And as long as it's a good appetizer, I have no problem with that. But it's kind of ironic because one of the things that people say about Dune is it's not a real movie. It's just a big prologue. I disagree. I thought it was a very full movie. It did have a couple of faults, and I can see why people think it's incomplete. But if you know the mythology, they did do their complete story. But I'm sure some people were like disappointed it didn't just keep going. But that's what I do think with this. This feels more like we're doing a prologue, a really big prologue, to get to the real thing. But I get it. It is Hollywood. You got to make money. And I do like Jason. I've only really seen his smoking film, which I thought was hilarious. It's really good. I'd recommend that. I've seen little bits and pieces of Juno as well. But again, I can't lie. I was a little nervous. But I got to give him a lot of props for not doing this immediately, because he could have just called his father and said, I'm going to do the Ghostbusters. And it's like, oh, okay. It's good it took a while to do this. But I hope, yes, he can be the architect or the producer. But I hope the next installment is not him. Again, it's I wish it wasn't prologue. Apparently, that's the perspective. It's not the Ghostbusters, but how the Ghostbusters affected us. We'll have to wait and see if the prologue idea was the right one to go in terms of jump-starting the universe and getting back into the, quote, Ghostbusters mythology. All right, thanks for listening.